Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
The Org Boss. The Org Boss is a residential and commercial organizing company that specializes in decluttering, interior design, inventory staging, business processing documentation, and more. Reach the Org Boss today at 832-617-0624 or send an email to info@theorgboss.com.
True Digital Media Consulting. You're online right now and so are your customers, but marketing has to be a consistent journey. True Digital Media Consulting can help with your online ads, organic growth, and so much more. Contact us today at 832-934-4436 or visit our website at truedigitalmediaconsulting.com.
Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Hey, yo, what's going on, my peeps? And welcome to Startup Masters. That's right. I'm your girl, your host, Kalia Guillory, also known as KG. You can catch me. You can follow me on IG, on Facebook, on YouTube at KOG Speaks TV or even KOG Speaks. And boy, do we have a treat for you in the studio today. Hey, listen, if you're thinking about starting a business or you have a business and maybe perhaps some of your tactics or your strategies have gone stale, we're gonna do a little hard work for you today. Okay, just a little bit of hard work. Gee, why you over there chuckling? What's
I just
going
had to
on,
laugh
man?
for a little bit. You know what I do. What's up, good people? Welcome back to Startup Masters. I'm your co-host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Now, look, it's been a minute, folks, but you can find me anywhere online: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snappity, chatting at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with the Z. I'm just happy to be back in the building with you, KG.
It's
What's
good,
up,
man.
though?
The energy is flowing.
That's how we do.
We just
just turn
off.
on.
Hey,
Boom, we're back.
Because here you are. Because
We're back.
a couple of minutes ago you was.
I mean, you know how hey, my mindset is different, right? I'm trying to make sure things are ready to rock and roll.
I think our guests might be like, "Oh, this fella
well,
came alive."
Well, hello, because that's what we do.
He's here.
Startup Masters, we're here, folks. And keep in mind, folks, with first 15 minutes or so on Facebook Live, you've got to go subscribe. So make sure you jot down your questions. You can drop them live in the show so that we can answer those babies for you. But we want to make sure that you subscribe so you get the entire episode and get all the riches, all the gems that are dropped at this table here today on Startup Masters. I'm excited. You ready to rock this?
Listen, let me tell you.
Talk about it.
It's serious when you start your sentence with "listen,"
Hey.
because that means
Yeah.
it's really serious.
Yes.
It's almost like the emergency alert on the TV is
Exactly.
coming on right
Have a
now.
seat.
Have a seat. You need to be prepared and
Yes,
listen.
yes.
Take some notes.
Huh.
Because today is going to be extra special because I know what's in store for you and I as well as our viewers.
Well.
Because what's going to happen is we're not just going to get a textbook answer to some of the questions that we're going to ask. We're going to go deep, so deep that, oh man, I almost did a line.
What's funny because I was thinking I was like,
oh, I can't say it. I can't say it,
But
G.
she gonna say it.
It's going to be so deep that it's going to wake up your soul.
There it is. We're going to roll with that.
We're gonna roll with that one instead. One time, but I've had the pleasure. It feels as though that I've known this young lady for a century, like for a lifetime. Like I feel like maybe in a different lifetime we met. Our paths have crossed because the funny thing about it might be maybe 6 to 7 months in.
Woo.
But thank God time isn't a qualifier
Come on.
because this Startup Master is a multitude of things, G. I mean, I can say a mother, I can say a daughter, I can say a startup master, I can say a pastor of the dopest organization of Awakenings Movement, I can say author of a dope book that I'm not going to steal the thunder. But what we're going to really talk about today is how you navigate with ease. So let me just go ahead and bring our guest.
Let's
Let
do
me
this.
bring
Let's
in
do
my
this.
friend, my buddy, Tia Norman, the creative brains behind Joy to the Table.
Tia, what's up?
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
I would be fine just sitting here.
We cut up.
Yeah.
It's
We
a
cut up.
cut up
This
show.
is fine.
This is what we do.
I could just lean back.
No.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, make sure. You can make sure you close.
But seriously, I'm super grateful to be here
Mm-hmm.
and excited about the work that y'all are doing.
Good
I have
deal.
listened to several episodes.
We appreciate that.
Where's this been all my life? It's been there. So congratulations on the work that you're doing. It's really great.
Well, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate it. And it's because of people like you that allow us to continue to move down this pipe, allow us to continue to roll down this road of exploration to some degree, this journey of entrepreneurship that we take those subscribers, those people that are listening right now in your car via SoundCloud, or you're watching this on your couch and Apple TV. We're doing this for you all, but it's beautiful people like yourself that allows for this to even happen. So
Yes.
thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. So since you already have watched an episode, you've listened to what we do, you know that we're about to go on this roller coaster ride. We're about to take this journey past, present, future on what you have brought to the table, this particular joy that I've heard so much about.
See what you did
I've heard, you see what I'm doing? I'm going to put it together. So you ready to rock out with us?
ready.
Let's do this. So take us back in time. Take us back to the infancy when your mind wrapped around the idea of bringing joy to the table. Talk to us.
Will do. So, this idea actually started at my kitchen table,
Okay.
and I noticed that a lot of the conversation around our dining table, so just to kind of frame it for you,
Sure.
the people who are at my kitchen table, my dining table, are myself. I have a 6-year-old daughter, a 16-year-old son, and then my mother who lives with us. I'm not going to give her age.
That's okay.
Mama probably wouldn't like
That's
that.
understandable. But we like that diversity of generations.
Yeah, so I have generations at my table, and what I noticed is that the conversation was really heavily skewed toward what went wrong in my day and my mother's day.
Mhm.
So coming home and, complaining about things that went on wrong in the office, et cetera, et cetera.
Corporate life.
Corporate life.
Mhm.
And then I have, at that time, my daughter was 5. So she's just learning how to read. She wants to be a part of the conversation, but yet we're not really talking 5-year-old stuff.
Hmm.
And then I don't know how much experience you have in trying to get a young teenage boy to engage in conversation.
Well.
Do y'all have experience?
I've got a few.
So that can be, it can be an opportunity.
Sure.
So I said, okay, we're going to change the focus of the conversation at our table, and we are all going to share at least one thing that brought us joy today.
Hmm.
So what I did is I combined that want with a skill that I possess, really a hobby at that time,
Mhm.
and that's sewing. So I started sewing table runners and placemats and placing little pockets on them.
Cool little dope little pockets. I can attest to
Dope
that. I
pockets.
can
I'm
attest to the
looking
dope
for-
pockets.
I'm looking for like something to trademark, maybe dope pockets.
Boom. That's it. That's your thing.
So the pockets hold a card, and the idea is that as you're dining, you pull a blank card. You write down something that brought you joy. You share it with those you're dining with, and then you drop it into a jar, which then becomes the centerpiece of the table. Yes.
Which,
Well, how about
I
that?
mean, we
got
just
props.
we might just have one.
We got
here.
props.
Okay, so there's Tia.
Yeah.
Count the happies. If you might not be able to see it.
That's right.
There.
Boom.
So it's all packaged into this jar. So essentially, you're pulling out the placemats, you're setting the table, putting the cards in the pocket. The jar becomes a centerpiece. Then you share what brought you joy.
I love that.
And it's
you.
dope.
Yeah.
I can
Thank
speak
you.
because I'm a customer.
Yeah.
And it's multi-use as well. We use it as a party. Your girl Cupcake had a party, and she wanted specific place settings
Sure.
at her brunch. And the cool part about it is she gets to count the happies on a regular basis to remind her of the dope people that were surrounding her on her birthday.
Thank you. That's what that has been. Going back through those moments that I've captured, that we have captured as a family, has been very rewarding as well.
Totally.
To go back over those memories. So
You reversed engineered our dialogue at the kitchen table.
thank you. Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about electronics, tablets and phones, and it's a way for us to engage and do it in a meaningful and joyful way. So
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that you made them put their phone down.
I did.
So Erica wrote that song after you. Just a little something.
Maybe she had the drawer on the table when she wrote it.
Maybe.
Put your
Perhaps.
phone down.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Come on.
So talk to us a little bit more about so here's the concept. We talked a bit about the result of the concept. What was that journey like of creating the actual idea of this is packaged this way, it's going to be a table mat with a cool pocket on it? How did you come to that? What was the journey like for you?
Yeah. So it started as a practice at our kitchen table. And then what happened, I don't know if you're probably aware, there was an election. And there was a new president.
Yes.
And I, like many others, felt a very strong division in our country. And so I said, hey, this practice that we are using at our table
Wow.
is something that we may be able to actually package up and offer to others as a way to create bigger tables to help people realize that we do have a lot of things in common. Yes, there are things that divide us, but I think joy is a common ground that can unite people.
Oh, come on, Joy.
So I said to my mom, hey Mom, I think this can be a thing. Like, I think this can be an actual product. And my mom is really, really talented when it comes to like the arts and drawing anything. Like, she can just look at something and draw it. My mom is so good at like artistic stuff. When we used to color together when I was little, I would get mad because she colored so good. Like, it's so perfect in the lines. It looked like paint, and it was
so
crayons.
mom is Picasso.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Picasso, baby.
Pretty much. So I said,
I see you today. We're gonna bring you on Boom Bap because you are on one today. Okay.
so I said, hey, I have this idea. This is what I want to call it. Can you make a logo? And so she started sketching again at our kitchen table. And so the logo that you see was actually created by my mother.
That's my camera. I mean, that was your camera.
Yeah, I was trying. Okay,
Booyah.
there we go.
Oh, hey.
Thanks, Elijah.
Thank you, Elijah. So the logo was actually created by my mother, and then a young woman by the name of Shantae, also known as the brand Chick, digitized it for us, and before we knew it, we had a thing.
There it is.
Yeah.
Love it. Now, talk to us about some of the, obviously, the trials and tribulations that coincided with the creation of this, right? And so I know that this may not necessarily be the final product, but talk about some of those road bumps along the way where you're like, oh, I've got to make a change. Oh, I've got to pivot. Because I think a lot of times entrepreneurs go through these cycles of trying to reach excellence or perfection, and we always have a detour somewhere. Talk about those detours.
Yeah. So originally, not only was I sewing everything on my own, the logo that you see was hand drawn.
Oh, wow.
So as orders started to pick up, we were like, all right.
How we scale this thing?
Yeah, this is not, I'm enjoying this, but this ain't
This
gonna
ain't the
cut it.
business.
Like,
Yeah.
I need sleep, right? I can't be up all night coloring labels.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely would say like the trials and tribulations have been figuring out how to scale this. I am a very big advocate of financial freedom. And so keeping in mind, like, how do I stay financially free when I know that I need capital, like, to grow this business. So those are just a couple of the things that have come up.
And those are important things. Am I right, KG?
I mean, financially freedom for financially free, working towards financial freedom, and something that we didn't talk about, and hopefully we can talk about this, is cash flow, because Tia also does and conducts a workshop to help you become financially free.
Yep.
And hopefully we get a chance to talk about that, because your story is very empowering.
Thank you.
Very much so. But one of the things that I know for sure is that it takes some wherewithal of being organized, right? When you think of starting a new business and even with your finances, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you are not perhaps as organized as you would like to be, we got a solution for you. Because this portion of the show is sponsored by our good friends by the Org Boss. Has the clutter in your home or office gotten out of hand? Are you sick and tired of spending way too much time trying to find the things you need on a daily basis? If so, then give the Org Boss a call so that she can help you create organized, functional systems that match your personal lifestyle. The Org Boss is a residential and commercial organizing company that specializes in decluttering, home staging, interior design, space planning, inventory staging, and, you guessed it, business process documentation for growing businesses looking to formally document their procedures. Call the Org Boss today at 832-617-0624 or send an email to info@theorgboss.com. That's info@theorgboss.com. Shout out to our friend V.
That's what's up. And I want to give a shout out to Monique. We see you in the building. She said hi and she loves it. I think, is that your cousin, Louise Charles?
Yeah,
saying
that's
hi?
my cousin Aki. Hey,
what's
and
up,
Pam.
Aki? And
Two
Pam.
two cousins.
How about that?
Boom.
Family showing up.
That's what family do.
I know, right? We love that y'all showing up, but guess what? You gotta go subscribe. So this particular portion of the show is over, folks, but we're gonna keep on rolling here at the Sphere, but you've got to go subscribe. So head over to sphere.tv/startup masters. We've got a few options for you. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. You can find us in your kitchen with the joy at the table on Amazon Alexa.
Come on, G.
You can see that
Come
plug.
on, G.
Plug in.
We back, boy. We back.
Back. So that's what we're doing now. Make sure you share this. Share with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Share with your loved ones. Share with those that you may dislike right about now. It's okay, because everyone needs to be aware of this entrepreneurial journey that can help you take your business to the next level. And while you're there, make sure you give us that constructive criticism. We want to know how we're doing. Let us know how this show is sewing back into you. We're going to take all the stars you've got, all the hearts and likes you've got, but we want to know exactly how you feel about our content. And last but not least, if you truly love what we're doing, sow a seed. Go to sphere.tv/donate. We've got a couple of options for you. You can donate one time right on the website, or you can donate via Patreon. And that's a subscription-based donation that's going to allow us to give you exclusive content that's just for you. So we're not ending the show here, but make sure you go subscribe right here at the Sphere. So let's keep this party rolling. Tia, talk about today. You've got a lot of irons in the fire, my dear. You've got a lot of irons in the fire. I've heard about, and I saw on the website about the financial workshop classes. Obviously, you're a pastor, so you're giving out the good word. We've got an excellent product that's sitting on our table. Talk about everything that you're bringing to the table for people and where they can find those things at. If someone wants to look at the things that you're doing today, whether they go to navigate that to get a full scope of what you bring.
Sure. So all of that can actually be found on my blog.
Okay.
Which is theblinkingline.com. So you can go.
How'd you come over?
I was about to say, I hope she tell you.
Please tell the story.
Okay. So the blinking line, it actually comes from, it's a nod to a book that I read, a chapter in a book that I read.
Okay.
And the blinking line is, you know, when you sit in front of the computer and you're about to start writing or creating something, and that line is just
that cursor, yeah,
is there blinking at you. It's like,
What you gonna do?
what you gonna do, Gary? What you gonna create,
the
Gary?
blinking line.
What you gonna tell the world? So I took that concept and have applied it to my life. Like, what am I going to do with this blank page?
I like that.
And how will I create? So you can find all that stuff there.
Yeah, I like that. And for those that are tuned in right now, we've got that up. If you make sure you're also subscribed to the video version of this podcast, so you can see this. And this is a beautiful looking site.
Thank you.
It sounds like you've got. Hopefully, we'll get to see some Startup Master stuff up there as well, because we want to make sure that everybody's aware of what you're doing on the show today.
Absolutely.
And I'm assuming they can order the jars right from the website as well.
Yes, that's correct.
And what about booking your financial workshop?
That's there too.
Come on now.
Turnkey,
One
baby.
stop shopping.
Turnkey solution.
Okay,
That's
I
there
feel
too.
that. I'm with that. So let's dive into this. I chuckle a little bit because you do have a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Right? That means that you're often pulled in a lot of different directions.
Mm-hmm.
But the question I would pose to you is that how are you sewing back into self while you're constantly pouring out for everyone else?
Yes. So that is a great question. And I am a big
Triple big.
triple big
Mm-hmm.
advocate of practicing what I would refer to as the rhythm of creation. So a 6-in-1 rhythm. So 6 days,
Get your pens ready.
Give somebody. Take a note.
6 days, I pour myself in to all the things that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one day includes none of those things.
I'm with that.
So if you think of it as like a to-do list, you write down all of the things that you typically do throughout a week, right? And then on that one day, you do none of those things. So it's your not to-do list. So I just don't touch any of those things. So that helps tremendously.
Sure.
And I also have experienced that during that one day, it actually is when I see and am able to create from a new space. So that break has actually been fuel for the work that I'm doing. And then on a day-to-day basis, I'm a big advocate of meditating. So I spend at least 20 minutes a day meditating, and that helps me kind of like,
That Zen.
yeah.
I'm with that. And I agree with that philosophy on the 6 on 1 off. For people who know me, my Sundays are, no pun intended, but they're religious. Like, you don't touch my Sundays. They're for church. If I'm working at church, they're for brunch, and they're for me doing whatever else I want to do that has nothing to do with Vortex, the Sphere, anything else. This is my day, because there's no way you can continue to give,
Yeah.
and you run on fumes.
Exactly.
You can't do
That's
that.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
because what Tia's really getting at is she's protecting her creative space
Exactly.
by doing the 6 on 1 off.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about how you got to that moment, right? Because I think for some of us and even our viewers, it's almost like, okay, well, I feel guilty to take a full day off, to disconnect, to, well, what if I miss something? You got that fear of missing out, right?
Yeah. And to add to that, I will say, like, when you first start practicing this, it's weird because you're kind of like, what, I'm missing out on something. Okay, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Like, if I'm not doing all these other things,
do.
what am I supposed to do? So if this is a practice that you are considering taking up, I would just say first and foremost, like, it may be awkward at first, and you just kind of work through that awkwardness. So
That's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. And so going down that same lane, in the same vein, what do you have on rinse and repeat so that you can be successful in your 6 days and really truly your brain can shut off in that one day?
Yeah.
Like, what systems are you subscribing to? Apps that might help you?
Yeah. So rinse and repeat would be, let me think about this for a second. I would say definitely creating space to separate yourself from your work would be one. And then really it's keeping in mind, I think, two things. That as an entrepreneur, things are unfolding, right? And in that unfolding, it's necessary for you to just take a step. So we have in mind like what we want the end of this journey to look like, right?
Talk about it, please.
So
Yes.
we have like this product and this is how much it's going to sell. And that's great. Like you hold that vision, but then you have to back up and say, okay, what is the next step I'm going to take? And sometimes we can get paralyzed because we're like, it's not happening how I thought it would. It's not. And so then it's like you just freeze because you don't know what to do. So just keep in mind, like you are creating, this is something that's unfolding. Sometimes the next thing doesn't reveal itself until we take a step towards just one little, doesn't even have to be a big one, a baby
Yeah.
step. And then
Yeah.
10 other things might unfold. You might be sitting on Startup Masters on the Sphere Network when you do that.
Hey,
How about that?
That might
boom.
happen.
Comes to fruition.
Taking time. Can you, Camille, you text Camille something. I'm going to mess it up. So I'm going to let you tell her. But I
Okay.
think it's going to be, it might be the thing that they need to hear about time, since you're speaking about time.
Yeah.
Can you share what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Chronological time
Yeah.
versus
Yeah. So the Greek have two ways that they describe time. Chronos, which is chronological time, and kairos, which is deep time. So as an entrepreneur, it's important to remember that chronos, or the chronological time, will get us where we need to be when we need to be there. But the work that we're doing is in deep time. Like this is not a, snap your fingers and it's done. So it's important to keep in mind, like the chronological part, yeah, it's important. But we are working and operating in deep time in pursuing our passions.
I love that.
Thank you.
Deep time.
Deep time.
But you lost yourself in this.
Come on.
It's 3 a.m. and you're like, I
Yes.
got another 3 hours in me.
Yes.
Deep time.
Deep time.
That's deep time. Yeah, when you lose yourself in the work that you're doing. So it's important to, like as opportunities come up and these deadlines come up and certain things have to be taken care of, stay in that deep time and those chronological things will be met.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And speaking of deep time, I know for me, marketing really isn't my thing, right? Like I wouldn't sign up to be in deep time.
I would not guess that.
Marketing.
I would not guess that of you.
Nah. This is what's in my head. Can you go and make something with it?
Really?
Yeah. I get lost in deep time with strategically thinking through how I can make this happen.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so-
I learned something. Gary, tell me something I didn't know.
I mean, but speaking about marketing, since I don't want to get lost, and if you're like me, you don't prefer to be in deep time with marketing, I got a solution for you. Say thank you, KG. Listen, this portion of the episode is sponsored by our good friends over at True Digital. You're online right now, and so are your customers. The question is, how do you actively reach them? Marketing has to be a consistent journey, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. True Digital Media Consulting can help with website development, online ads, your business reputation, and organic growth on search engines. Give us a call today to discuss a customized strategy for your business at 832-934-4436. Or send us an email to info@truedigitalmediaconsulting.com. Mention the Sphere to receive a free, yes, I said it, a free 30-minute strategy consultation. Shout out to part of our friend that also hosts the Boom Bap. So if you're into hip hop and
Marketing.
and marketing, you might want to check. You might want to go onto the platform and check that show out
you
too.
definitely might want to do that. So we nibbled around this a little bit as far as 6 on 1 off, right? Chronos versus Kairos time. When you do set all those things aside, that one day of reprieve, that one day that you sow back into self, what do you find yourself doing? What's on that plate of yours?
Yeah, so that is an interesting question because how I used to feel that is now how I'm working, right? So it's like my hobbies have now moved off from being hobbies, and so I got to find new. Somebody asked me the other day, they were like, "Do you have any hobbies?" And I was like, no.
It used to be sewing.
It used to be sewing, but not anymore. So I spend a lot of time outside, going for walks. I am, as an entrepreneur, personally, I find myself in a space where I know this sounds horrible, but I'm not very social. Like I spend a lot of time alone.
Sure.
And so
I would have never guessed that.
being somebody's friend on that day off, it's like remembering that I have friends is important. Yeah. So, but being outside is a big part for me. And I love podcasts. So
really?
listening to podcasts. is
Good
another
deal.
one. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
What are you mentioned the blinking line came from a nod to a book that you're reading. What do you have in rotation right now?
Oh my gosh. So I also have started this really bad habit of reading like 5 books at a time. So nothing's getting read.
How do you keep saying? How you not? Like,
It's not. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm accomplishing nothing.
That's funny.
Nothing. 'Cause I have. I was very fortunate to receive like essentially a wish list. I had this wish list of books,
nice.
and I was gifted the entire library.
Oh, wow.
And so now it's like, ooh,
Whoa.
I could read this. Ooh, I could read that. So I've opened all of these things.
That's a good gift.
It's an excellent gift, and I need to get my life together because I'm not completing
So many
anything.
options.
Yeah.
You can't do one. I feel you.
Exactly.
I try to do 2 at a time, no more than 2 at a time. If I can do 2, I'm good. One that sews into me in some form or fashion, the other one for complete and utter foolishness. So
How does that work?
It works
'cause I've
really
heard that
well.
before.
It works really, really well.
So
I'm
what are
able
you
to.
reading right now?
So I'm reading Robert Cialdini's The Power of Influence. I'm in
Okay.
chapter 5 right now, right past Social Proof. And I'm reading A Children in Time. I can't remember the author's name. I just started. I think I'm about 30% of the book, but it's either a trilogy or a 4-part series, one of the two. But it's post-apocalyptic. That's my genre of choice. Post-apocalyptic space or futuristic. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that's a good like rhythm for reading. I just, for some reason, and I've tried it. Maybe I need to find like my genre. Maybe I just don't have
perhaps.
because everything is like business or like.
No, that's
That's
okay.
it.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
So speaking of futuristic, let's talk about the 5, 10, 20-year plan. Where do you see yourself, whether the pastoral side or the financial workshop side
Yeah.
or the joy side, the joy at the table side? Where do these things show up in 2025, 2030? What's happening? What's your vision for these things to continue to grow to fruition?
Right. So let's start with the financial freedom piece.
Sure.
I would love to have grown that to a point where I have enabled, let's say, 20 to 30 other folks to be in a position that they can pursue their passion full time, that they're in a financial place to do that. So that's the financial piece.
Can we just talk about that a little bit more? I feel like there's more unpacking than that. Like you breeze over that like it was like, because it's huge. Because you got yourself out of debt that allowed you to go into full-time entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I think people need to hear that. Just a high-level Cliff Notes version.
So the Cliff Notes version is, I guess it was probably 2013 or 2014, I decided that I would learn what was required to be completely debt-free aside from my house. And so I was able to accomplish that. And as a result, when I was told at my corporate job that my services were no longer needed, I was in a position where, of course, I was kind of like, that's no one really wants to hear that when you go, you know. But it turns out being like one of the blessings in disguise. And when the dust settled, I was like, I'm fine. And I can also now go do these things that I love, at least try, right? So recently I get a little quiet because recently someone shared with me, I had no idea that this individual was doing the things that they were doing, but they were like, hey, Tia, like, I listened to what you said about the financial piece. I've saved a lot of money, and now I'm able to go do this thing. And I was like,
Boom. Because of you. Your legacy. It's your legacy.
whoa, so it's huge to me. I think that we feel disempowered when it comes to our finances, and that's not the truth. the truth is that we can tell our money where to go, and we are smart enough, capable enough, and wise enough to make our money work for us.
I love that.
Commanding
Come-
my money.
come
Money,
on.
you go over here.
You go
there. A little
there.
bit everywhere.
Kiss me on the forehead and go work in the morning.
John.
Just like
One
John
time for
said.
John.
One time for John on that.
We have a mutual friend, Kiana, who said, I think Kiana said something like this, like, you send the dollars out and then you say like, hey, go do your work and then bring your friends back. Like, go
Exactly.
and then bring your
That's
friends
it.
back.
That's it.
Hey, the power of 72 or the rule of 72. You got that compound interest. Make that money work for you folks. So obviously, do you see this workshop growing to something that's nationwide, something that's worldwide, global? What's your thoughts?
Ooh, global.
Riveting content.
Okay.
Global eventually would be awesome. And with technology, like there's so much possible right
Definitely.
now. So yeah, I definitely could see it. Thank you for that. I
No,
could see it
hey, you're most
expanding
welcome.
across
We're
the
going to
globe.
sow a seed
Thank
just
you.
like that.
To
Thank you
millions
very
of
much.
people.
Come on. Why not?
Millions.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they should be picking up some joy at the table. Right?
Yeah,
We're changing lives.
so Joy to the Table, I would love for Joy to the Table to actually be a vehicle for people to be employed, right? So I'm just now at the point where I've been able to contract some of the sewing out. And Norma in Magnolia, shout out to Norma.
What up,
Yeah.
Norma?
What's up, Norm in the bag?
Magnolia. Hey.
Who her dream is to actually have like a manufacturing facility.
Oh, nice.
So more people like me. So I would love for this to be a vehicle for people to learn a skill set, to be gainfully employed, and just make this a movement that spreads around. So
I love that.
Socially conscious. It's
Come
me
on.
right here
Come on, with joy.
with joy.
Joy and
Houston,
love.
Texas, and Magnolia.
yes,
I love that.
exactly.
So, I think that this product for entrepreneurs, I hope that y'all are tuned in to this product that someone has sowed and labored into, the love that it takes to push that passion forward. It's not just about chasing a dollar. It's not just about doing any of those things that I think we often get caught up in. Sometimes it's just simply about putting your best foot forward and staying true to your heart. Sewing back into folks. Joy to the table. Why not? Why not do that? So that sounded like an advertisement, didn't it?
It does.
That's because this particular portion of the show is sponsored by us right here at The Sphere. So are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send us an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Because that's what we do. That's what we do.
Speaking of a
Beautiful
quick
businesses.
advertisement,
I see it. I saw it pop on the table.
you saw it.
I did. Let's talk about it
I'm gonna give Tia the pleasure.
before we get out of
Thing
here.
is changing lives
What is this?
across the globe,
Thank
baby.
What
you.
is this?
So this is a book that I wrote.
Awesome.
It is called Giving Up Mediocrity.
Lovely.
And really, it takes folks back to, I mentioned previously that I was let go from my corporate job. So this takes you back to that moment of like, okay, this sounds like bad news. Does it have to be bad news? Not necessarily. What would happen if for 40 days I poured myself into only the things that I love? And so what this book is a, you can use it as a day-by-day kind of journal. And it's my self-talk of like what I had to tell myself every day through that journey. Because, that doubt will creep in.
It surely will.
Are you sure? You sure you sure? You sure you're supposed to be doing this? So yeah, that's what you're holding in your hands.
I love this.
Thank you very much.
Why keep the chocolate?
Why-
Okay, come on. I can come up with a few answers to that. Yes.
Okay, so this guy.
I have to stop and read. It taught me.
It has
Giving up
officially
focus on the
gone viral.
past. Giving up focus forwarding to tomorrow. Today. Be present.
It's
How many times?
It's pages full of gym
Come on.
after gym after gym.
How many times have we missed today because we're so focused on what happened yesterday or what's coming down the pipe for tomorrow?
Boom.
How many times?
That's the gym right there.
Come on. That's the hook. Come on.
This
I'm
fella.
about it. I'm buying that.
As
That's
you should.
bought.
As you should.
Bought, folks. Bought, folks. Well, my dear, this has been a great episode, a great conversation with you. Every time I look over, I think you're like 18, 19, 20
Oh,
with
thank
the
you.
spirit
Thank
of
you.
just joy just pouring out. But I've got one final question for you.
Okay.
Let's just say the twine, the cap, the labels, everything inside of this ball jar simply disappeared.
Yeah.
Let's say this book, page by page, the ink just simply lifted off and dissipated out into the worldwide, whatever.
This isn't sounding good.
It's not.
this is
Every person you've touched financially, every person you've sown into that has decided to monetize their life in a way to become debt free has forgotten everything you've taught them.
Mhm.
And you suddenly find yourself all the way back at the drawing board. No disciples,
Mhm.
no one to pastor to. And you're back at your infancy level. You remember everything that you've been through.
Right.
And suddenly, you've been slid some seed money. How would you do things differently this time around
Oh.
with the financial backing and all the knowledge that you have that you didn't do during your first journey?
Wow. I thought this was going somewhere else. I'm so glad it did.
We're gonna loop it back. We're gonna loop it back.
What would I do differently
Mm-hmm.
with some seed money? You know, it has been it literally has been unfolding step by step.
Mm-hmm.
So I would use the financial support as a little bit of, I don't know what the right word would be, maybe space or time to like start putting all of those things together. But I don't even know if it would work like that because it's like you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
Very true.
So to say that I would pre-plan like scaling the business, I guess would be my best answer if I got to keep that knowledge that I already have. So yeah, scaling. would be-
Scaling.
Norma will be in work sooner than later.
What's that?
Norma, she'll
Yes.
she'll be in work sooner than later.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm with that. And scalability is important.
It is.
Yep. Yes, indeed. I am
I can see.
yeah, it's
refreshing.
a thank you.
Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth. This has
Gotcha.
been a refreshing episode.
Thank y'all.
Because it's such a sweet spirit at the table, where it feels right.
Thank
You know,
Thank
it
you
just
very
feels
much.
right. So no, thank you. We appreciate it. Joy to the table, folks. Here on Startup Masters. That's how I feel, right? I just want to announce it. Tia,
Tell it
please.
to the world,
That's how I feel. Let everybody know. Anyone that's listening to the sound of our voices, let them know where they can find you, your products, your services, where they can get in touch with you.
All right. So I am on Facebook at Tia Norman and Instagram at 2 as in the number 2 B Tia. So 2B Tia. My blog is theblinkingline.com. And Joy to the Table, you actually can go to joytothetable.com and it will take you there as well. Giving Up Mediocrity is on Amazon. And I think that covers all of the bases.
Well, we're going to push that thing. If it hadn't already hit bestsellers list, we're going to
Aw,
push that
thank
thing
you
to
very
bestsellers
much.
list.
That's what we doing.
Let's get the word out.
Thank
How
you
about
very
that?
much.
Joy to the book. We bringing joy to everything around here. Come on.
Joy to your fine.
Come on.
Joy to the book.
There it is.
Joy to the world.
We got a whole new branding scheme.
Joy to the podcast.
There it is. There it is. Seed money in effect. We got marketing wrapped up. It's wrapped up, folks. Right here on Startup Masters. Well, Tia, thank you once again. We truly appreciate you, my dear. This has been a lovely episode.
Thank you so much.
KG, where can the good people reach you at?
Good people, you can catch me on YouTube at KOG Speaks TV. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, IG, as well as Facebook, I'm there at KOG Speaks or just Kalia Guillory. Good luck trying to spell that. You could just check my handle. What
There
about
it
you,
is.
G?
Of course. Good folks, you can find me anywhere online. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snappity, chatting at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about with Tia here at the table, make sure to send us an email, startupmasters@thesphere.tv, or hit us up across social media at the Sphere TV. Use our coveted hashtag StartupMasters, and we will get with you shortly. This has been another great episode. We will see you all next time. Take care.
Peace.